Hello, welcome to another episode of Mega Manga Monday. I am Jason Hahn, writer for Screen Rant, and today we are talking about Chainsaw Man Chapter 101, called After School Devil Hunters. And as I said, I'm Jason Hahn from Screen Rant. I happen to write a lot of video game related stuff, but I'm a huge manga fan, so we decided to start the Mega Manga Mondays podcast. And today I've got a couple other buddies from Screen Rant with me to talk about Chainsaw Man. Steven, how you doing, man?
Hi, good. Yeah, my name is Steven. I work on the comic side of Screen Rant for a while now, mostly writing about manga and Shonen Jump as well as Sonic the Hedgehog. But yeah, I'm really excited to talk about Chapter 101 of Chainsaw Man. It was a fun one.
Yeah, especially after coming off of the last chapter. It felt like the last chapter was kind of the breath of things to come, possibly. But we'll definitely talk more about it. Ben, how about you, man?
Yeah, I'm Ben. I'm also a comics writer for Screen Rant. Been here for about half a year, writing about manga, DC, Marvel comics, and yeah, I'm excited to talk about this chapter too because I'm mainly excited not because of the plot, but because I noticed a pun, and so I want to talk about the pun. I think it's fun.
Oh boy, he rhymed already.
Oh yeah. Well, if I'm talking about a pun, I gotta bring in the rhymes too.
DJ Ben in the house.
Of course.
Well, I'm not sure which pun you're referring to.
It took me a while to get because it's a Japanese pun.
Oh, that's cool.
Because I was trying to think. Because the War Devil gives her name you can call me Yoru, right? And and I knew that Yoru meant night in Japanese, but I was like, does it mean anything else? Is there deeper meaning to that? So I looked up definition of Yoru and it just said night, no other meanings really. And I was like, what could this mean?
As in night, you mean armored guy?
No, I mean
day and night.
Time of night.
Okay.
Day, night.
Daytime, night.
And so I was wondering what that meant, and then I read back over the scene, and I realized that, Mitaka's name is Asa, right? A-S-A, Asa. And Asa is Japanese for morning. So it's morning and night. So they're the light and dark halves of her personality, kind of. But it's kind of a neat little pun that the War Devil made there.
Yeah,
and that's something cool. I mean, it's not just in Chainsaw Man, but in just a lot of manga in general. Because there's just so much meaning in a lot of kanji characters, and a lot of mangaka they focus a lot on that, and it's something that we English readers miss a lot. So I'm glad you brought that up. That's really cool.
Yeah, no, I'm happy I noticed it because I only have I have a basic knowledge of Japanese. I know some basic vocabulary, and that was good awesome. Enough here.
Yeah. That's incredible. Thanks for that insight, man. I know we also like to talk to another Screen Rant writer, Todd Peralta, on our Boruto podcast usually, and that guy's got I think almost a degree in Japanese.
Wow.
He apparently knows a whole lot, and it's something I'm really jealous of. Ever since I was a kid, I was just like, oh man, I'd love to learn Japanese, and everybody around me's always says oh no, it's way too hard, don't do it. And I'm like, oh, all right, I'll go ahead and succumb to this peer pressure. But
I will say, having self-studied it a bit on my own, the hardest part about it is the kanji. But if you don't worry about the kanji, it's actually not that bad. It is a bit. It's very different from English.
Oh yeah.
But those differences often simplify things, especially when compared to if you want to learn a Romance language or something like that. Japanese is a lot simpler in terms of just how the grammar is set up and things.
Yeah, I could never the people who don't speak English as a native language and they come into it and do it. It's because it's just the most convoluted thing.
Yeah.
Well, it works sometimes in this case, but in others, just because it doesn't. It's what? Why?
Well, yeah, it's a
So,
great example earlier. I was just like, night? Which version of night? Like, there's so many words like that. But anyway, logistics podcasts are fun. But today on Chainsaw Man 101, we I thought this was a great chapter. We got to see a lot more diving into the relationship between well, we can now call her Yura, or War Devil, and Yoru. Thank you. and Asa. Is that what we're going with now? Okay, because I was
Mitaka or Asa.
yeah, I had Mitaka in my head, and then I'm on the panel where the cat is saying, "My name is Asa," and I'm like, hold on. Well, anyway, this was an awesome chapter. I think it really fleshed out more of the world, which I'm very curious to see how the world operates now that they've kind of just gotten used to devils being around. But that's another thing that I thought was really interesting that we brought up in our previous Chainsaw Man podcast. It's just like, what kind of school literally has like a club where kids are hunting devils and devils are murdering at an alarming rate? And we even had a guy like break down all the statistics for us in this chapter, which I thought was very interesting. It was just a guy kind of in the middle of the town square yelling out that people need to be paying attention to this kind of stuff because the news isn't really talking about it. But out of 20 people, 7 will be killed by devils. And that's very alarming. And they're just okay with high school kids going out and being like, let's go kill some devils, everybody, this will be fun, followed by panels of dudes being ripped apart. And the panel of this stretchy arm really was pretty hard to look at. And it's twisted, and I kind of loved it. But also, another thing we brought up in the past podcast was our fear for Yuka or Yuka.
Oh, Yuko.
Yeah, and War Devil kind of drove that fear home for us in this one, because it's just like the more guilt that she feels in taking somebody's life, the stronger the weapon's gonna be. And it's so messed up, and that's the good old Chekhov's gun writing technique there. Like, it might not be Yuko. I think it will be, unfortunately, but I'm afraid of like anybody who she's going to be getting close to now has that potential to be a dangerous weapon. And it's kind of a whole nother level beyond the Angel Devil in part 1, where she could turn people into weapons too, if I'm correct, but it would like shave off people's lives. I might be remembering that incorrectly, but something like that.
I don't know.
Well, Angel was a he.
Yeah, Angel was a he, but
I
don't remember what their exact power was.
Or no, it was I remember because Maki was really worried about it. It was like, if you even touch me, it shaves off it shaves off years from your life. But there was somebody that
it's like a lifespan absorption, and then he can like transform the lifespans into weapons.
That's right.
So he can't exactly like turn people directly into weapons, but he can like kind of do it. It's just a couple of extra steps in between.
Yeah. So this is a lot more personal and a lot more brutal. And yeah, it kind of makes me afraid of, well, obviously for Yuko, but I think it's something that's gonna play a major part, especially later on. Let's see how far Mitaka's story goes. I still hold on to the fear that Fujimoto is going to build this up, and then it's just going to switch gears back to Denji, and Mitaka will die or something like that. I hope not, but
I think that boat has sailed.
Yeah,
I think, and I'm happy about it because I'm really enjoying Mitaka's story.
Same.
And I'm excited to see where it goes. And it's nice having a character that has so much room to grow, and so much ahead of them that they haven't done, right? Like, Denji's gone through a lot and done a lot, and grown a lot. And of course, there's more like direction for him to go, but like it's nice just having a blank slate almost that we can start over the suffering cycle yet again.
Well, and yeah, to build off of that, I mean, she's in a blanker slate, if you would, than Denji ever was, because I mean, he could always transform into Chainsaw Man, but Mitaka, like, she really can't do any of that. And what's even like what was crazy, like in those final scenes, it's like if she's terrified, then the War Devil can actually get inside of her and take over. So it's like she's in a worse predicament than Denji ever really was. I mean, Denji's only thing was he always needed blood to, lubricate his chains so that they could spin and he could keep on killing. That was like his only real setback. But Mitaka has to deal with actually transforming into something or doing anything. So yeah, it's she has a lot more of a way to go than Denji ever did. So yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, and I kind of say that's one thing with Denji that I always thought was really strange. Unlike most main characters in a lot of shonen and stuff like that, Denji just felt like the most like clean slate character that we'd ever met. Like, because he didn't have parents, he didn't have really anything going on. He didn't even know like what kind of life he wanted to live. Like, he had like no desires or anything, and that was just the weirdest character to like wrap my head around, because you could argue like Naruto didn't have anything either, but he had at least the goals, and when we picked up that story, he had already gone through all the depressing trials that eventually led him to be the optimistic what's the word I'm looking for, optimistic, and not epiphany, but he was just very concerned with like other people's empathetic. Thank you. And compared to here, especially with Mitaka, like I loved the bits in this chapter where she started to kind of come out of her shell, because even before she accidentally got tripped and killed Bucky, it was very very apparent that she had a lot of social issues, and she just hated everyone around her and stuff like that, and just consistently felt like the black sheep and didn't belong to anybody. And then Yuko sits down and says, "Hey, my parents were killed by a devil," and she's just like, "Oh my god, me too!" Like, and she just seems so socially awkward. And it's just, again, like how good Fujimoto is at drawing so many like different expressions, and especially with her, like after Yuko like walks away, because write this down for your lore because it'll probably become very important later on, but Yuko has to pee when she gets excited.
I was gonna say, talking about Chekhov's guns,
But as soon as she leaves, and that's when the War Devil jumps in and says, "Hey, we should kill her." And then you just get to see the full range of Mitaka's emotions go from like, "Hey, I'm bonding with somebody," to, "Oh no, let's not murder this person." Like, I loved it.
Well, that's the other thing, that what makes her so appealing, Mitaka, and also it just makes it even more tragic and a lot like Denji, is like you were saying before. I mean, she was a complete social outcast. I mean, she didn't really have friends, and the one person who did befriend her was basically just trying to destroy her life and everything. And it's like the fact, I mean, she could solve this by just not being friends with Yuko anymore. I think that would definitely help them, but she can't.
Isn't that the tragic irony?
Yeah, like I mean, that's like the whole thing. Like she's been shown like trying to not connect with her. I mean, like, she's going out, like even the beginning of this chapter, after like the end of chapter 100, the War Devil's like, "Yeah, maybe we should sell those shoes that that she gave to her," and she's like, "Are you idiot?" Or, "Of course I'm not going to do that." But then still at the beginning of chapter 101, she's like, "Here, take your shoes back. I don't need them. They're too small." Like, she's still trying to push that away from her. Like, there's just something about her where she's kind of self-destructing, but at the end of the day, she just can't, and it's really sad. And it's kind of like where Denji was. I mean, Denji wanted love so much that he couldn't let go of Makima, and we saw what happened with that.
Yeah, and I think that that's an interesting point relating to their goals because, like, for Denji, you know, his initial goal was, oh, I want to touch some boobs, which of course is silly, but ultimately that gets back to his, you know, I want to actually, you know, care for someone. I want someone to care for me, right? And he just interpreted that as, oh, you know, I'm desiring this. I must want to touch boobs because society hammers in sex, 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 and that's the big thing, you know, boobs, not necessarily the relationships underlying them. And I feel like Mitaka here has a similar sort of thing where, like, she's got this goal in mind, which is, like, kill Chainsaw Man, because that will help her get revenge on the devils and stuff like that. But, like, is that actually what she really wants? Or is that another misdirect where, like, I don't think she's going to actually kill Chainsaw Man. It would be interesting if she actually managed to do that. But it would be interesting if she accomplishes some form of her goal or some progress towards her goal and realizes this actually isn't going to be, like, revenge is not going to be fulfilling. I actually want something else.
Yeah, I mean, and it just go off that. I mean, it's even almost like more tragic than that because it's like there. It doesn't even seem like she wants to kill Chainsaw Man. Like when the War Devil brought it up, she's like, I don't want to kill him. Like it's like she just wants him to die. Because I know, like in the first chapter of this, she's like, I want him dead. I want him out of this world. But it's like when the War Devil actually brings up killing Chainsaw Man, it's like I don't even want to kill him. Like I believe she says that in this chapter. So it's like she wants something, but she's not willing to do it, and that would make it even more tragic if she has to later on.
Yeah.
Or being put in that situation. It's just very, very well written. I'm like you've been saying, I'm enjoying this particular story, and I don't like. I'm at the point where I love Denji, and it'd be great to see him, but I kind of don't want it to happen yet because there's still so much more I want to see of Mitaka.
Oh yeah, we're so intrigued by this, like especially with just all the like delicious irony that Fujimoto is writing into this arc. Like you start off with a character who doesn't want anything to do with anybody, and then she gets possessed by the War Devil, who says, like, if you do meet anybody, I can kill them and turn them into a weapon. You would think ideally she'd be like, okay, great, well, I don't care about people anyway, I'll just keep staying in my room and not doing anything. Everyone wants me dead anyway, because I embarrassed myself. And just like she's going through all the teenage, like, social anxiety bits, and Fujimoto, especially in his one shot, the first one he did, just for me really showed that he has, you know, like most of us, has been like that awkward human being trying to figure out how to relate to other people and how to pretty much feel comfortable in their own shoes. And he goes ahead and introduces this character, and then it just makes it so like, okay, well, if you do start to come out of your shell a little bit, I'm going to punish you for it by killing that person and then turning them into a weapon. Which kind of, you just helped me come up with this too, is like, what if we do meet Chainsaw Man and Denji? She doesn't want to kill them, but what if Mitaka like befriends Denji and then War Devil's able to use Chainsaw Man as a weapon?
Yeah, just pulls a chainsaw out of it.
Well, not a little bit more than that, but it would almost, it's like she wants to be the next, oh my god, my brain is not working today. But the main, you guys are going to not let me down for forgetting this lady's name too. Makima, thank you.
I thought you were thinking of Chainsaw Man. I was like,
what's the name of the guy with the chainsaw? What's that dude's name?
He shows up in the manga Chainsaw Man. I can't remember the name.
Yeah, it's like what's the name of that song where the grandma gets run over by a reindeer? But it's interesting because she like wants
Jingle Bells.
Yeah. It's like she wants to be the next control Makima, and she wants to be able to control him and do all that.
I actually feel very different because, like, I don't think it's her weapons aren't like I can control them. It's like they're fodder for me, right? They are just like they will serve my purpose, but I don't care about controlling them because I don't care about whether they live or die. And that is very, akin to war, right?
Yes, great point.
Nations sending armies out to fight, they don't really care about the individual soldiers' lives. They just care about putting a dent in the other enemy forces.
Right.
I feel like the War Devil is the same way because she did murder, the teacher she made a sword out of, and it gets that hand that she made the hand grenade out of. Those were both not living, so.
It's just like I am so excited to see War Devil fight some more, but especially with this context that we've been given in this chapter and the chapter before, I'm terrified to see her like fight again because, at least with the teacher and stuff, it was just like, okay, this dude's sleeping with his students. What a scumbag! Oh, now he's a sword. He's a spinal cord sword. That's cool. But at least with this, it's just, especially with the more we learn about characters around her, the more I don't want War Devil just to go crazy and start turning everyone into spinal cord swords or something even cooler. And that's what I'm really afraid that this is leading up to. Fujimoto has proven time and time again that he is not afraid of building up characters and then just having them disappear. So I think that especially the end of this chapter really got the stakes going, and I think Yuko might be safe for a little while. I think that we might build up that relationship even more. This feels like somebody's going to show up, maybe handsome guy. Yoshida might show up and help save the day.
Where was he? Of course he's not there, because then there wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah,
I will say it could also be the case that Fujimoto knows that everyone's going to view Yuko as a Chekhov's gun and think, oh, well, Yuko's safe for a while longer because Fujimoto has to build up the relationship between Yuko and Mitaka, and then just be like, next chapter, nope, Yuko's a weapon, kill the Bat Devil now, and Mitaka just has to deal with it right away, which I could see him doing because he is very unpredictable.
Yes.
His manga, but then again, in part one, Aki was a Chekhov's gun for a very long time and stayed alive for a very long time.
And then Fujimoto literally turned him into a gun.
Exactly. He's not above gun puns, so maybe we'll see Yuko turned into a gun as well.
The gun devil comes back. Well, yeah. I forgot where I was going, but this chapter was a lot of fun. And is it confirmed that it was the Bat Devil?
Yeah, I'm glad that. Yeah, I mean, because I don't think it can. Because I went, I saw, I'm like, oh my god, Bat Devil! Ah! But then I read back, and they literally blew him to bits. There was the last time we saw it's in chapter 9, and they're basically laying in his guts and intestines after they destroyed him. And I don't know. Because he was boyfriend to the Leech Devil, and I'm wondering if this weird amalgamation.
Oh, I totally forgot about all that, because that's all in part 1, yeah.
Yeah. So there's this could be like their offspring or something, just because they were really obsessed with each other. That whole the Leech Devil freaking out that Denji killed her boyfriend. But then again, there's not really much of the Leech Devil in this Bat thing Devil. So I'm not sure, but it definitely doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't look like the Bat Devil before, and the Bat Devil was completely obliterated last time. So but then again, it can come back. So I don't know.
Well, that's kind of the thing. It's not just if Denji kills them. It's if the Chainsaw Devil eats them, then it totally snuffs them out, right?
Well, yeah, but the devil can still come back. It just has to, once it dies on Earth, then lives in hell, and then once it dies in hell, then it comes back to Earth. So it's basically just going back and forth, back and forth. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess it could have, gone through a life in hell and then came back. I mean, there's no way of knowing, but it does look very different. But I think it would be kind of cool though if it was more of like the child of the Leech Devil and Bat Devil. That would be a cool little twist.
Yeah, definitely. But what was some other stuff? I kind of gabbed about all the stuff that really shined for me in this chapter. What was some stuff that were some of your favorite highlights?
Well, my favorite highlight was the pun, for sure. But I will say the guy talking about the danger of devils in the town square. It is interesting because he's hyping up like the war between devils and humanity, right? Which will make people more scared of that war, which will give the war devil more power. So it's kind of interesting how that could play into things. Although maybe the fact that people are ignoring him, or like, a fair amount of people seem to be ignoring him, is a sign that maybe the War Devil's powers are weakening because people are less scared of that now that Chainsaw Man and other high-profile devil hunters are more active in the public eye. But who can say? We'll find out.
That might be why she wants to. I mean, of course, she wanted to get those nuclear weapons out of him, make him puke him out. But I mean, that could be one of the reasons why no one is really listening to this guy. I mean, that's what's just so weird about it. This guy's in the street saying, "We are all dying," like at an alarming rate, and then like in the next scene, there's a bat devil slaughtering and eating people, and it's like no one seems to care. And also too, like you've been saying, Jason. I mean, like the school is allowing this club to go on. It's just like no one cares, and that might be, because of devils or creatures like Chainsaw Man. And that might be one of the reasons why the War Devil wants to get rid of him, is because he's taking away all that fear from her. It's a possibility, at least.
Well, I almost wonder if it's sort of a commentary on like Marvel and other superhero stuff too, because it's like if you existed in the Marvel universe, like especially from our perspective, how much like twisted villains and dangers and like how much messed up stuff there is in the universe, and it's just like, oh well, we don't worry about any of that because Iron Man's here. Like we're just gonna go ahead and live on our lives because the superheroes are here to take care of things if things get bad. And we kind of have that guy in the streets in this chapter just saying like, well, yeah, I mean, we're still almost 50% of all deaths in Japan right now are from devils. And people are just ignoring him. And I think that's a fascinating thing you brought up, Ben. Like if, devils start killing more, and if Chainsaw Man disappears or doesn't show up at all, then that fear is going to evolve into possibly, people wanting to fight back in war, and Mitaka becoming more powerful because of that. So it's a very interesting balance that this series is currently in. And I almost feel like if a threat is big enough, like right now, and Mitaka can't handle it, it's just kind of perfectly setting up the arrival of the hero, the savior, All Might. I mean, Chainsaw Man.
Oh, what?
I want Chainsaw Man to show up and say, I am here.
Over the buzzing of his chainsaws.
Yeah. But this is something I just thought of, too, that I didn't think of, I think, in our previous podcast, too. But the whole idea that Chainsaw Man can vomit things up is new. That means that everything that he has possibly eaten and erased could still be in him, like in some sort of, they might have some sort of weird pocket dimension inside of Chainsaw Man's gullet, which, I mean, if the nuclear devil could be vomited out, then what's to say that anything else that he has eaten could be vomited out too?
That would create pandemonium.
Yeah.
Which may be Chainsaw Man Part 3. Who knows?
Oh man, you're thinking way too far ahead there, Ben.
Maybe, but
yeah. I'm the more we learn about it, the more I think we'll eventually get a flashback, or I hope we get a flashback of just Chainsaw Man in hell before Denji entered the picture. Because I'm just very excited to know more about hell and the place that devils live, and kind of how that all operates.
Yeah, and why is it the last thing that devils hear before they are killed and come to Earth is a chainsaw? Mm-hmm. Like, that's still something I remember. It was just like an offhanded comment, but I was just like, oh my god, it was like in chapter 52 or something, and it was never answered, and I've been waiting.
Oh, well, I think that was something that was teased like a couple times during part 1, because I think I remember it first getting brought up by Power, like her just bringing up like her fear of that, and then I think Mitaka. Man, I don't know why my brain's struggling with Control Devil's name.
Maki.
I'm sorry, guys.
It was the Angel Devil who brought it up, because that's when he was talking to Aki. Was during their conversation. The Angel Devil said that, he was like, I've heard Chainsaw Man's chainsaw, and that sound is the last thing I heard before. That's the only memory I have of in hell.
Right.
Something along those lines, yeah.
So I mean, yeah, that's ever since that was started, I was just like, oh well, we gotta see what hell's like, and we got a very small preview of it when they got teleported to it and encountered the Darkness Devil, and that just fueled that really just fueled my desire even more to see all of that, because especially once the like primal fear devils got introduced, it was just like, all right, well we've got our big bads, we have our most intimidating things, and very, very excited for them to grow more on that. But I totally agree with you guys too. I'm really, really, really enjoying this arc so far, and I mean, we're only 3 or 4 chapters into it already, and I feel like so much has been established and so much has been laid out, especially with these new characters, and very, very excited to read the next one. And we were discussing before, the series seems to be switching gears. We were getting a new chapter every week, and now it sounds like, we don't know how permanent this is going to be, but it sounds like Chainsaw Man is going to be coming out every 2 weeks, which honestly I'm all good for. I think once you go to monthly, it's a little bit more bothersome, but I think every 2 weeks is going to be pretty solid. I think it just gives Fujimoto and his team even more time to put out great content, and who knows, chapters might even start being a little bit longer too. But it also gives us at Mega Manga Mondays more time to plan and get things recorded and organized. So that's all good news, I think. And I think mangakas, they live very stressful lives, and not everyone is like Oda, who, I don't know how that man does what he does with One Piece.
And Oda still has to take, a break now and then, like every 3 or 4 weeks, going on break. So, the industry is shifting. Mm-hmm. They're adding in more breaks. It's interesting to see, and it'll be interesting to see how they do that going forward. Especially given Chainsaw Man's extremely popular right now. I guess Spy X Family is also extremely popular right now, and that's been doing bi-weekly for a long time.
Wait, what is popular? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Spy X Family.
Oh.
Yeah, which has been doing bi-weekly for a long time, because it's also on Jump Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great series. Me and the wife just finished the first season of the Spy Family anime, and I haven't transitioned over to the manga yet. We'll see. But
well, the manga is also great. I can confirm.
Fantastic.
I think I got to like chapter 20. I mean, it's good. It's just not my thing. But it's one of those things where it's like, it's really good at what it does. I really, I mean, I don't remember anyone's names, but I mean, where I was going, the intricacies of the two fake parents relationship, that was really good. But yeah, it's just very well done.
Yeah, I agree. It's a great series, and if you're looking for something a little bit more lighthearted and comedic, I highly recommend Spy Family. But so with the Chainsaw Man, what do you guys hope will happen next? Because we definitely ended on a nice cliffhanger. War Devil is trying to warn Mitaka that they need to run slowly, and they just start running as fast as possible immediately. So as I said earlier, I think it would be almost too predictable if they just decide, oh, okay, I'm just gonna instantly turn Yuko into a weapon and kill this devil, and now we're moving on.
But you said that was too predictable.
I feel like that's too straightforward.
Okay, straightforward. I can agree with. I don't think it's predictable.
Yeah, because I think it would be so anticlimactic. I would be very upset with that.
Yes,
just because I want something much more. Just I mean, it's definitely would be a technique of us not even seeing it happen or just happening on the fly.
Yeah.
That's definitely like there's some meaning behind that for sure. But I mean, for me at least, and or other people who've gotten invested in their relationship, it needs to build more, and that moment needs to be drawn out. Like it would just become the same.
It could build more as a weapon, if Yuko retains some personality or something as a weapon, because she kind of cast aside the spine sword and the hand grenade right after she made them, but
maybe screaming.
Yeah, maybe the weapons can talk to Mitaka after they're made.
I would love that because not to jump into like plugs and spoil, or not to jump into plugs, but I also have a YouTube channel called Honzy and Friends, and I like to stream games, and we're currently playing the newest God of War, which has a character that it has a character that you meet that is like an all-knowing guy named Mimir, based off of Norse mythology, and he acts as like a severed head that is just tied to Kratos's like thigh, and he provides all
stories.
He provides so much extra lore, and the voice actor like adds so much character to it. But it becomes like one of your favorite parts of the whole game is just hearing the banter between this severed head that won't stop talking and Kratos and his son. So I love the idea of if she killed Yuko, but Yuko still retained her personality, and we just got like her reactions, and it would provide a lot of comedic relief, I think, for this entire series if War Devil's on a rampage and fighting for their lives while Yuko is the talking sword that's being hilarious and reacting to everything like a teenage girl. I would love that. That's the only stance that I'm okay with Yuko dying.
I was thinking that it would be the opposite, where it would be Yuko. Every time she used Yuko, she'd feel guilty about it, and like Yuko would be like, "Why did you kill me?"
Oh man, that's way less fun.
Okay, I would actually be fine with that then, because I was going to say like I don't like I like the finality of it. Like I don't know, like it felt like if they still have like a relationship, it would minimize just the tragic and the shock of that moment of just the whole trauma of having to pull the severed head out of your friend and like in creating a sword out of it. But if it has that dark edge to it, it's like, why did you do this to me? Then that would I would go for that. I would actually like that more than her just being gone forever, which was my initial want. So that would be cool.
Well, and also the whole thing you brought up too is how War Devil brought up, I can't take over your body when you're scared. Well, you took over the body of a teenage girl in a world filled with devils, and a devil killed her parents. So she's going to be scared pretty much any time a monstrous devil shows up. So it's going to be really interesting. Like, what's the perfect situation for War Devil to be able to manifest herself when they're not being attacked? So it's just like purely an offensive sort of situation, which is a very interesting dynamic. I see Mitaka being more scared than brave or courageous against devil threats than anything. So I almost feel like War Devil can only manifest herself at the worst times in this story for her to do so.
And that's actually one of the things I like about Mitaka more than Denji. Was that, I mean, it fit his character, but I always felt that he came onto, like, it was just almost too natural. Like, he was just like there was that whole thing in the first part I always really appreciated. They kept on bringing it up. It was like a mantra for a while, where it's like you have to have, you know, a few loose screws to be able, you know, to be a devil hunter. And, you know, even Aki, who had been doing this for a while, like, you know, was being portrayed as this guy that, no, maybe he looks like he has his, you know, stuff together, but he's still too normal for this. And it always, you know, created that tension with him. And that was something that Denji just never had, and it kind of took away that fear factor where it's like, oh, it's fine, Denji will be okay, you know, he's not scared of anything. He's like, he's gonna, you know, he's fine with chopping up the devil of eternity for 3 days in a row.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't even traumatize him. It's like, oh yeah, I'm just cutting this guy again and again for 3 whole days.
That was another thing that I thought was really weird about Denji's origin. Was it was just like he's always just been an orphan with no parents until a guy found him, and now he just kills things. He's been killing things since he was a kid, and I'm like, whoa. No wonder like Denji is weird and doesn't know how to be a normal kid and stuff. But yeah,
you didn't do any of that as a kid.
Well, yeah, I thought he did, because before like Puchita like sacrificed himself to bring him back and stuff, like it was while Denji was like a young, I don't know about how young.
Oh yeah, he was on that mission. Oh right.
But I mean,
right.
he was essentially working like with the mafia or the Yakuza to take down.
He like owed.
Yeah, but I mean, like actually, like see him kill things as a normal kid.
Well, yeah, because the first chapter, especially the first chapter, just has to establish so much. But I think we got a couple panels of him killing like lower devils and stuff. I don't remember if they said if it was like other humans and stuff. I think it was just devils.
Yeah,
I think it was just devils.
Yeah, it's just devils. Yeah, but yeah, so I mean that was my only thing with him and with Mitaka. I mean, we have, she doesn't have that background or that, you know, taste for it, I could say. And it just makes these types of moments that more powerful, and which is another reason why I think that her character is resonating with me more at the moment. Just in terms of, you know, starting out and, you know, having to get acclimated to everything. So I mean that's like one thing I even though it is, you know, stereotypical of it to happen, but like if Yoshida, you know, comes in at the last second because he hasn't been here, like he needs to come and save her because she shouldn't be able to, you know, just be fine with it all of a sudden. Like that would take out a lot of conflict. So that's one of the things I'm hoping that will happen in the next chapters. Yoshida will come to the rescue because we still need that growth from her, because once that's done, that conflict will be over.
Yes.
And it will happen eventually. It will happen eventually.
Yeah.
Unless they need
just
double.
There's someone else who could also save her from the bad devil. And I can't believe I didn't think of this sooner, but
Power!
Chainsaw Man.
Oh, yeah.
Just show up.
I was actually
Next chapter.
I kind of was teasing that earlier. I was just like, you know, we need somebody to come in and save them, and I almost feel like it's gotta be the handsome guy that is absent right now. Yoshida, because I feel like if Denji and Chainsaw Man shows up right now, I mean, yes, that'd be great. Everyone wants that. But I almost feel like we have a more. I think it'll be more powerful if he shows up later.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
I think that I would much prefer Yoshida to show up because then it reveals to Mitaka, oh wait, this guy's a devil hunter. Oh wait, this guy saw me flash into my scars shifting over to Yoru. Oh
Yeah.
no.
Oh boy, and then that would add like a lot extra layer of complexity in their like relationship because
She's got to pretend because she can't. Yeah, that's right. Because if the War Devil knows, like, if she's trying to ask for help, then that's the end of that. Because he already says, like, you can't go to Devil Hunters. I'm not going to let you. I mean, this contract will be over, type of deal. So it's like she has to pretend that she doesn't, or like that she needs help when she does need help, and Yoshida's going to have that whole thing. So yeah, I completely agree. That whole dynamic will be very.
and I'm excited to see him fight. I want to see what he's capable of and stuff. So
Well, we see like we'll bring back that the octopus ink stuff.
yeah, because I barely remember any of that. So yeah, I'm excited to see. I think it seems I think it seems perfect for him to show up. I would be very surprised if Chainsaw Man shows up because I feel like that's something that we are still gathering hype for. And we're still only a few chapters into part 2, so I think we have a bigger reveal for Chainsaw Man planned, other than him showing up to save them from this. But yeah, who knows? I think it'd definitely be a lot more interesting with Yoshida showing up because it would add so much more tension to their dynamic, and Yuko, especially seeing him there, and I could see Yuko being like, why are you being so weird with Yoshida? Like, he seems awesome, and he saved us from that devil, and we should be thankful, and it definitely has a lot more potential for drama for Yoshida showing up. So that's the Mega Manga Monday prediction for Chainsaw Man 102. But yeah, any other thoughts on Chainsaw Man Chapter 101 or the series in general before we move into plugs and recommendations, gentlemen?
I mean, even though I was saying that it's unlikely that this Bat Devil is the same Bat Devil as from Part 1, it would be interesting if it were the same, just because he does have that connection with power from before. Not saying that he would see power anytime soon, but
sorry to interrupt real quick, but just for listeners who don't remember, I think the Bat Devil was one of the first major devils that we met with Denji, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it was the one that Power tried to feed Denji to because the Bat Devil was keeping her cat hostage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
All right. Woo! Yeah. So I mean, so they do have that history. So I mean, even though if nothing happened, like, it's just nice, like, where you get these types of moments where you aren't getting your characters back that you fell in love with, but you're getting these references, even though they're not very like they're not a complete connection. There's just a little bit to it. I really like that.
Well, it's just
like resonates.
Yeah, it resonates, and it just like it rewards the reader and being like, that character mattered, that relationship mattered. Like the
I haven't
author,
forgotten about them. They're still there. Yeah.
The author is just like, hey, remember this thing I did? Well, this was important, sort of thing, and that's something that I think Oda is a master of. But we're big One Piece fans, well, most of us, on Mega Manga Monday, so it's hard to not have that come up in my brain consistently. But yeah, Ben, did you have any final thoughts?
Oh, I think I mainly covered it in the discussion. I'm just excited for the next chapter and to see how things develop.
Yeah, absolutely. And according to this chapter, or at the end, the last panel of this chapter, we should have a new one coming out August 16th. And that is just a couple days before I'm going on vacation. So expect a new episode of Mega Manga Mondays talking Chainsaw Man 102 before I go on vacation for a couple days, or for a few days. So look forward to that. I'll go ahead and move into plugs and recommendations. This has been Mega Manga Monday, Chainsaw Man Chapter 101. I am Jason Hahn, and I would love it if you checked out other episodes of Mega Manga Monday. Also follow us on Twitter at Manga Mondays. You'll get consistent updates there, letting you know when new episodes are coming out, and you might even get a couple humorous tweets from time to time about new chapters and hyping and stuff like that. But also follow us on YouTube. We've got a lot of every one of our podcasts is up on there to listen to for free. We're also on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and all that stuff. So definitely check that out. And as I said earlier, I have another YouTube show called Honzy and Friends. There I like to stream really cool games. Currently playing the newest God of War on PlayStation 5, and it's awesome. Also do some comedic Let's Play videos from time to time. But yeah, you can find me on YouTube there and also on Twitter on Honzy and Friends. But yeah, and Screen Rant. Check out ScreenRant.com for all of your comics, movie news, and gaming news. Lots of good stuff there. But Ben, how about you, man?
Yeah, so before I get into plugs, in terms of recommendations, Harley Quinn Season 3 is now airing.
So good.
Yeah, so it's a blast. If you enjoyed the first two seasons, I think you'll like this season. And if you haven't seen Harley Quinn, it is a wonderful take on the DC universe that you don't really need to have read too many DC comics to get enjoyment out of. You just need to know like common sort of tropes of comics, and you'll probably like it a great deal. Just a very fun show, very lovable characters.
Yeah, I've gotten about maybe like 6 episodes on the first season, and it is just so like it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's just like very fun, and you can tell the writers like know so much about like the lore and everything, and they're just having fun with it. It's like a comedic animated sitcom with all the Batman villains and Gotham and all that stuff. I love it. And it's definitely not for kids. Don't watch it with your kids.
I would agree, yeah.
Yeah, latest season, I mean, it does build off of the comic book series pretty well, because like the comic book was like quick series, like it was a couple of issues that lead into the final season, but that's it.
Yeah,
you can keep
but
going.
it's not necessary that you've read them.
No.
They did in a way that, you get maybe more enjoyment out of it if you have, but if you haven't, then it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, that's on HBO Max, 3rd season, Harley Quinn. Definitely check it out.
Yeah, and in terms of plugs, I have a YouTube channel of my own called YGO From Zero, where I basically go through historic formats of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, definitely check that out as well.
Excellent. Well, yeah. And how about you, Steven?
Yeah, so I'll actually give one plug today. Usually don't, but tomorrow I'm going to be interviewing Masaaki Yuasa, the anime director. His newest movie is coming out in a few weeks. Inuo. So that will be fun. Yeah, I'll be talking with them at some point tomorrow. But yeah, he also directed Devilman Crybaby.
Really? The series?
Yeah, and he did an episode of Adventure Time. I got to figure out which episode.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had no idea until I started, looking into it. But yeah, it'll be a fun chat.
Oh man, the Devilman Crybaby Netflix adaptation, I actually just watched maybe about a year ago. I was really late to it, and other than being a visual feast for the eyes, oh my god, that's messed up. That story.
Devilman, like it was so different.
Yeah, because I knew nothing about like Devilman until I saw like the awesome trailer on Netflix for their season or their version that they put out. But that's like it's like a whole series, isn't it? Is it like a manga?
Well, I mean, I just watched the Devilman movie. Like, I grew up with that as a kid, and it was I wouldn't say a kid because it was pretty mature. But yeah,
I was gonna say if wasn't a kid, then I'd be a bit worried.
Devilman.
That explains a lot.
Yeah. But,
cool, man. Well, yeah, you can find that on Screen Rant. This episode of Mega Manga Monday is probably going to be coming out tomorrow. So, yeah, hopefully that'll be available. But definitely look up Steven and Ben's works on Screen Rant's comics section. They've got lots of great introspective articles about Marvel, DC, and manga stuff. Highly recommend it because they're a couple good dudes with some good opinions. So check it out. But yeah, I think that'll do it for this episode of Mega Manga Monday, gentlemen. It's been a lot of fun. Very excited for chapter 102. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys next time.
Yeah, see you next time.
Peace.